Welcome to FireTech Talk. I'm your host, Sean Kelly, and today I'm speaking with Brian Scholl, lead consultant for the Energy Response Group, about fire protection in cannabis facilities. Brian, it's so great to have this conversation with you. We actually did a video a couple years ago.
Yes, we did.
I believe then, though, you were in a different role. So why don't you explain your current role and then what you were before and why you made the change?
Well, let's go back to my former role. I was Deputy Fire Marshal for the Phoenix Fire Department. I was been there for 23 years, and I just retired this past November. And then my new role is we're a bunch of fire service folks that go around the country and talk about lithium-ion batteries. We obviously had the McMicken incident in Arizona, and that was kind of the springboard for us to get the codes going. NFPA 855, the IFC Chapter 12. So I still get to be in the fire service, but yet I still am retired.
You spoke before about, back when you were in your fire marshal days, that deputy fire marshal days, that you always viewed the service companies as the boots on the ground. They're entering buildings at a rate that you're not necessarily entering just because is a math problem, manpower, okay?
Correct.
And I thought that was like a very healthy way to look at it, that everyone has a role to play, let's work together. Now that you're on this side, has anything changed in your perspective?
Not really, but now I have the opportunity to go to my customers and say, hey, we need to engage with the local AHJ right away. We need to get with the fire alarm companies, the fire sprinkler companies right away, and build those relationships so that when we actually go to permitting, we have everything in together, our ducks are in a row, and it's so much better for the AHJ.
That's great. That's really good. All right, so let's move on to the topic for today. So, cannabis growing and processing facilities.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't new. Years ago, it became apparent, as different states, different cities were allowing this type of businesses, that they presented some unique hazards. So why is now the time for NFPA 420, and how have things evolved, and what's been occurring over the years?
Yeah, so the reason that NFPA 420, and obviously NFPA has a little sense of humor, came about was we had so many different regulations in so many different places. So the idea is let's take it from here, here, and here, and put it into one standard so that it's just one place to go. Make it easier for everybody. Because when you're looking at cannabis grow and extraction, there's a lot of different hazards. The grow, you have liquid CO2, which is a simple asphyxiant. If you have a leak of liquid CO2, you basically fill up that room with CO2, and then you lose the oxygen. And then if you look at the extraction, you're looking at flammable gases, potential explosions. There's a lot of different hazards, so getting it into one standard. And I love the way that NFPA does it because we bring everyone to the table. It's not just the fire service, it's not just industry, it's special experts, it's end users. We all come together in a consensus standard, and that's the best thing.
That's great. Yeah, the standards process I think is unique, but also very powerful in providing something that's fair and balanced, and gets perspectives from everyone.
Correct.
Sometimes end users understand the needs for what's being recommended, what's being required, and sometimes they don't. Okay. What do you see in the cannabis growing and processing facility world? Do those end users, do they understand, like, hey, this stuff can be dangerous, or do you feel like there's a lot of work to be done to explain the hazards present?
So as far as the industry goes, and I'm going to be totally honest, when I first got into doing inspections of this, I stereotyped them, and I thought they were, Piscoli coming out of the van, smoke everywhere. And when I started meeting these people, everything is engineered, designed, even down to the water they use. It's amazing the science that's in it. So they understand what's going on, they understand the hazards. The end users, not so much, but it's the ones that kind of want to go around the code, and those ones that scare us. And those are the ones that, sadly, we've seen a lot of incidents. And
you feel like as 420 gets out there more, people are aware of the minimum standards, and different AHJs are inspecting those buildings, that should help improve the situation.
Definitely help, because once again, as an AHJ, it's just difficult to go to all these different standards and try to understand things, where one standard, we try to write it as simple as we can so that anyone can use it, not only AHJs, the industry, but also end users, or someone that, hey, I might want to get in this industry. What do I need to do to make it safe for my folks?
Yeah. All right, so can you touch a little bit on how does NFPA 420 build off of provisions outlined in NFPA 1?
So NFPA 1 and the International Fire Code are both fire codes. So NFPA 1, if the NFPA folks, that's their fire code, and then IFC is for everybody else. There's a few states that do NFPA 1. So basically there's a chapter in NFPA 1 as well as IFC, and we've kind of taken that out and put it into 420. So that's the idea, is once again, take it out of all the different standards and put it into just one standard.
Can you explain, are fires in these types of facilities documented through the NFIRS or NERIS systems?
Yeah, so NERIS is the new system that we're now, and I say we, I can't get rid of the we, the fire service is now using to document any kind of fire. So it is in there, it's tough to find. They're kind of refining how it goes. But between, in Phoenix, I know Colorado, we've had a lot of incidents with extraction facilities that didn't understand what they were doing and didn't actually go to the AHJ for permits. And that's where we're finding the biggest issue. So 420 coming to places like this, teaching people, hey, this is 420, this is what you need to be looking for, this is what you need to do, and that's kind of the importance of 420.
Okay, no, that makes sense. What changes do you anticipate in the next edition?
So that's interesting because there is no next edition right now. We're just writing it from scratch. So when we were in the first meeting, for some reason I felt it'd be a good idea to volunteer for the extraction chapters. Didn't realize that was pretty much 80% of the standard. So we basically got in a room or on Teams, and we were basically just writing code, pulling it from different areas. Denver, Colorado was huge for us because obviously they had done it first. And all the mistakes that they did, we said, okay, we're not gonna do that again. So that's kind of how it came about. And we just did our first draft meeting. And so hopefully 2027 is gonna be the first edition.
Their service companies are already working in these facilities, all right, fire equipment companies. Can you give maybe some advice, or obviously start with the standards, but what would you say to a service company who has a new facility in one of their territories? They get that opportunity to work that account as a customer. What should they know ahead of time?
Obviously, they need to know what is in the standard, and you can actually get that through the NFPA's website, because you're talking about there's gas detection that we need to worry about. There's fire and smoke detection, sprinklers, mechanical ventilation. So there's a lot of different systems that need that inspection, testing, and maintenance done on a regular basis. And that's normally the failure. We do a really good job about coming in a brand new building, we do full inspections, everything's working like it's supposed to, and we lose the inspection, testing, and maintenance. And that's the biggest thing that we need from the industry, is to make sure they stay on their customers. And don't be afraid to call the HJ and say, hey, I can't get in this building. It's been 2 years since I've done inspection, testing, maintenance. I need your help as an AHJ to get them to do it. Because we know how important it is to make sure those systems are working correct all the time.
Okay, well, that's good information. From a suppression standpoint, are there engineered systems to consider? Is it, obviously the sprinkler, are there any special fire extinguishers, or is it, does it depend?
It really depends. Are you doing just a grow facility, or doing grow and extraction, or just extraction? A lot of different things come into play. Obviously, sprinklers are pretty much required no matter what you're doing. But when you start getting into the extraction, that's really the real hazard. That's where you're using your butane, ethanol, flammable gases, flammable liquids to get that wax to turn into a gummy or into a vape pen. And we need to make sure we have good gas detection. We need to have good mechanical ventilation so we don't have that explosive atmosphere.
Concentration.
Exactly.
Are there high flow extinguishers that would be involved with that gas, or?
You're gonna have your regular extinguishers. I have seen some CO2 extinguishers kind of coming in, but the local HJ is gonna help you with what type of fire extinguisher that they're looking for.
Okay, great. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing 420 come out, 2027.
2027, so right around the corner. So, but the good news is, going through the NFPA's website, you can actually see the first draft and see kind of where we're coming from. And as an HJ, hopefully they will look at it and say, yeah, that's a good, let's just get in our code now instead of waiting until 2027.
That's great, that's great. We appreciate you watching this episode of Fire Tech Talk with Brian Scholl. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and do us a favor and share this Fire Tech Talk episode and any others you've liked with a friend or colleague. Thank you.